You know, the spawn can be a challenging time to fish, but you know, where I live up in the north, it's a fun time. You know, we have largemouth and smallmouth, and the lakes are so diverse. You know, you have a lot of different cover options, and these fish will utilize whatever they have to have, whether it's, you know, gravel or rocks or shallow vegetation, boat docks, whatever it is. So I like to have baits that are prepared for really anything that I've got in front of me. So whether it's, you know, open sparse cover or heavy thick cover, I've got the bait that'll work during the spawn. You know, one of my favorites is a tube bait. You know, this is just old school tube on a jig head, put a pretty light head on it. I can, you know, cast it at any target that I see, and I'm looking for objects in the water. Look for any dark spot, any light spot, weed clump, sand spot, a rocky spot, anything that's irregular that if you can see it, you want to cast that tube to it. And the lighter the head, the better. You know, that slow fall that a tube has gets a lot of them to bite it on that initial fall. And then just the action with all those tentacles, if you're just shaking it on the bottom around one, when they're spawning, they can't handle a tube. So a tube is still one of my go-to baits anywhere in the country, but especially in the north during the spawn. You know, a lot of our lakes have a lot of grass, vegetation, and heavier cover. And in that option, you gotta have something that's weedless, but something that you can actually fish and cover water with. So one of my favorites is just a Texas rigged Ragebug. You know, what I love about a Ragebug is it's got a lot of action. You know, it's a creature bait, it's a compact bait that you can flip into heavy cover, but it still has a lot of action. You know, I can pitch this bait out there, I can swim it through the grass and cover some water with it, or I can just put it right down in a fish's bed and just shake it right in the thickest grass or vegetation, thickest cover, and have it be 100% weedless. So, you know, I'm gonna have it rigged with 20-pound test fluorocarbon, you know, a flipping stick. I've got it on my GC9. It's a 7.5 foot heavy action rod. I wanna get these fish out of that thick cover in a hurry. So this is a bait that's just really, really versatile. If I've got a lot of cover, you gotta have this tied on. A wacky rig is just something that is totally deadly through that whole spawn period. And you know, you can throw a finesse worm, but without a doubt, I think my favorite is a Strike King Ocho. You know, on a wacky rig, it is a really, really, really special bait. You know, there's a lot of stick worms on the market, but what makes an Ocho special is it's super, super soft. It's got a lot of salt in it, so it gives it a good sink rate, but it's those octagon shape, those flat sides that just give it a lot of extra quiver on the fall. So, you know, I use my wacky rig tool and put an O-ring on there. I've got it rigged right now on a little Mustad Titan X weedless hook. So if I've got some cover around it all, or if I'm throwing it around docks, I like that, you know, fluorocarbon weed guard on there. It's very subtle. The fish don't see it or anything like that. It doesn't affect the action of the bait, and I can still throw it around some thicker cover. If you're in total open water, you don't necessarily have to have a weedless hook, but so often I'm going to be throwing it around some type of cover. But this bait, the way it falls, is just really, really special. So just cast it out there near any target that you can see, you know, anything that you see irregular with your polarized glasses out there in the water, or something that you can see sticking out of the water. Just cast it out there, pull it up to it, and just let that bait fall. Letting it fall is where it has that incredible action. Get it down to the bottom, lift it up, let it fall back down again. If you don't get a bite, I'm gonna reel it in and do it over again. A wacky rigged Ocho is a dynamite, deadly bait during the spawn. It's just something you have to have tied on. You know, having these baits tied on during the spawn is gonna really cover you for just about every situation. You know, there's always other lures that you can throw, but these are my go-tos when these fish are really focused on moving up shallow and getting in this cover and doing their thing.